Bernig, the Executive Director of the Sheboygan Falls Chamber Main Street, and on behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to welcome you to the mayoral debate this evening. The candidates are Incumbent Mayor Randy Meyer and Challenger Tom Bigler. Each candidate will have an opportunity to introduce themselves in just a few minutes. We want to acknowledge and thank School Administrator Gene Bourne and the Sheboygan Falls School District for hosting the debate this evening. The moderator for our debate is Jerry Baltus of Huberty CPAs in Plymouth, and the timekeeper is Daryl Ottman of the Sewing Machine Shop in Sheboygan Falls. Thank you, gentlemen, for assisting us this evening. Daryl, are you ready? Okay. Mayor Meyer, you will have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. I want to thank the school district for hosting the debate. The high school has a special place in my heart because I had to go away to special schools for the blind for elementary through junior high. So really, my experience coming back here as a freshman couldn't have been nicer to finally be with my family throughout the full year. So this high school has a really special place in my heart. I want to thank the Chamber for putting on this debate. I think our brand of democracy is very important, so I really enjoy the competitiveness of an election. But I really want to thank my family, because without good family support, nothing would be possible in life. I want to thank my wife because she's really with me every step of the way as I knock on doors. And I want to thank the voters, because your vote is important. And my goal is to knock on every door in the city and talk to as many people as possible.
Challenger Bigler, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'd like to thank everybody again for coming tonight, taking time out of your schedule to come here, and I really appreciate it. A little bit about myself. I lived in Sheboygan Falls my whole life. I served in the U.S. Army in Vietnam, where I was awarded 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Army Commendation Medals, 1 for meritorious service, 1 for valor. I served on the fire department for 49 years, served on the library board for 35 years, served on the Sheboygan Falls Board of Review for 12 years, or school board for 12 years, the Falls Board of Review for 10 years. I served on the city council for 6 years. I worked as a groundman, apprentice lineman, and line supervisor for the Sheboygan Falls Utilities. I ran my own business for 20 years. I'm an ISA certified arborist, and I have a supervisory management degree from LTC. So that's me. Thank you.
Jerry Baltus will now explain the format that we are going to be following this evening and do the coin toss to determine who will begin the debate tonight. Jerry?
Thank you, Cheryl, and welcome everyone to the debate this evening. The format that we're going to follow tonight is that all questions will be asked by the moderator, and that again is me. Each candidate will be asked the same question, and they will each be given 2 minutes to answer each question. Candidates will alternate answering the questions. So one candidate will answer first, followed by the other, and then again we'll switch, and the second candidate will get the next question first. The timekeeper, Mr. Ottman, will raise a yellow card to signal 30 seconds left, and will raise a red card when time expires, and an audible signal will be used to notify Mayor Meyer. After all questions have been asked and answered, each candidate will have an additional 5 minutes for closing comments. So to determine the start of tonight's debate, we're going to just do a simple coin toss, and Mr. Bigler, you as the challenger will get a chance to call heads or tails, please.
I'll go with heads.
Heads is the call.
It's tails.
It's tails. So Mayor Meyer, you've won the toss. Would you like to start take the first question, or would you like to have the closing comments first?
I will take the closing comments second.
Closing comments second, so you'll take the starting question first. Is that right?
If that's the format. Yeah.
Okay, pretty good. All right, so Mayor Meyer, you get the start the debate questions. The first question tonight is as follows, and by the way, all of these questions were submitted by voters. So the first one is, both candidates have some sort of planning for the future as an important part of your campaigns. If elected, what specific steps would you take to plan for the city's future?
All right, thank you. Planning for the future is very important to me. My slogan is it doesn't take sight to run a committee, it takes a vision, and really vision is planning for the future. So the specific steps I would take is first, our smart growth plan is due for an update, so we'll assemble another smart growth committee to really work on that city plan. The other thing in planning for the future is you really have to look at your businesses that are here now and how you can help them expand. And we're doing a good job of that now with Metallic 2 building in Vision Park. Duratrell just agreed to build in a couple months, and by the way, they're adding space for polyvinyl, so again, it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal there. We need to continue to plan on our road systems. For example, 6th Street and Willow will now go through as planned, because we have that developer's agreement in place as well. So again, planning for the future is a continuous process. I've done it for 14 years, and I'll continue to work the plan for the future. I meet with each alderperson at the beginning of the year to really understand what their goals and expectations are for the year. I always ask them, what are we doing right and where can we improve? On my first year as mayor, I instituted department head meetings. Now, some of you may think, well, department head meetings, wasn't that happening already? And the answer is no. So on a monthly basis, I get all my department heads together, we go around the table, and we discuss where the city is at and how we can improve. And then I give them my input. And what's happened is department heads are now learning through those meetings what's actually going on in the other departments. It's building a better team relationship, and to really plan and focus and take advantage of the future, you need to have a good team in place. So that's how I would continue to plan for the future, and I think the future for Sheboygan Falls is extremely bright.
Thank you, Mayor Meyer. Mr. Bigler, you had the same question. Would you like it repeated?
No. Okay, planning for the future for the city, there's a lot of avenues we can look at here. I think one would be financial avenue. The other one is why is that a problem? I think right now, even though there is a subdivision that just started off of Little Road can build houses on, they're specialty homes. They're not for everybody. I think we should be looking at developing a subdivision for single-family residents. I hear that all the time. There's no space, and what that'll do is help increase the tax base, which will help ease some of the tax burden and getting some things done where we don't have money to do it. The other thing is we're doing a lot of things out in the industrial park, helping businesses get started, and that's not all bad, but what are we doing for the businesses that are already running? Very little. Somebody new comes in and wants to start an existing business or take it over, there's no help unless you want to build something where the city has a TIF district or something. I understand now there's the rural economic development just getting started, and I think that's a good program if we can get that going to help maybe some small businesses downtown area to help them. The downside on that is, as I understand, it's going to take a nonprofit, and I understand there's one available to do that, and if they take all the money and they have 10 years to pay it back, that's not really doing it. But I think I want to look at that and see if we can help small businesses, maybe in the downtown area or different areas that really need it. And I think that might be a tool we could use. Thank you.
Very good. And Mr. Bigler, the second question goes to you first, and that is, if you win the election, what will you do to promote the development of a new subdivision or subdivisions in Sheboygan Falls?
Okay, what would I do? There are several areas that we could probably put a subdivision in, and the city could do it, either use an existing TIF or do it with some existing funds. But if we can't get a developer to do it, I'm for letting the city try to do it. I know the city really isn't into the land development aspect of things, but it could be done. Other cities have done it, and they're doing it fine. I think we could develop lots, put water, sewer in, sell them at market price, and we're not subsidizing the people, but we're giving them something that we don't have right now. I think we need lots, maybe bigger ones, where a family, they can let their dog run. The ones on Willow, they're smaller, maybe not, they're not for everybody. And I guess I would look at that. And there's a lot of areas we can look at. The problem again is funding to get it started, and there are some areas, maybe out in the park area, where we could put roads and sewers in and get something started. But I think building a subdivision is going to help the tax base a lot. That's all. Thank you.
Very good. Mayor Meyer? Your response?
Subdivision has certainly been a focus, and that's why signing the development agreement with Hillcrest to get 27 new single-family lots in the city was important. Again, we're using the same model we used at the Bowl. We're doing the infrastructure and special assessing it. I think that's a model that's going to have to be used more because simply developers can't afford to put the infrastructure in and build the homes. It's just too much cost for them up front. So that's where we can help out there. Shad and I have identified 5 different locations where subdivisions would be possible. One of those locations is within the city. It's a 10-acre lot. That's one that I'm personally taking some interest in. I've gotten permission from the DOT, from the state, to allow an access point out of there, so it would have a way in and a way out. That's very important. The other subdivisions, we certainly do have to find developers to develop them. Shad and I have met with a number of developers, people from the Home Builders Association, and we continue to have those meetings. We've met with landowners. We do have landowners that border the city that are willing to sell, so that's a step in the right direction. So I think a subdivision is actually very close to happening. But again, we're not going to announce anything until it's done. And that's the same thing we did with the Hillcrest development. We didn't announce it until we knew it was happening. So the other area we could develop a subdivision in is part of the plan on tax increment district 4 is out by Plainfield Green. And part of that plan is to be able to use some increment from there to improve Bluebird Lane as it goes to the Prairie Crossing Pine Haven location. I think everyone would agree that's the worst road in the city. It's going to be an over $1 million project, so we have to figure out how to pay for that. Once that road's improved, West Side Park gets a good shot in the arm to develop, and you're going to be able to promote subdivision growth in that area. But until Bluebird's improved, nothing can happen.